Let's do it. Up. And more quality players, too.
Oh, yeah.
Both David Inglis and, is it Pieter?
I would think so. Yep.
It's Pieter. I want to make sure. But
I've seen him around as well.
Yeah, and David Inglis, Team Handshake, Pro Magic player, and then Peter's been around a long time on the SG Tour as well. So it's some good matches here.
Absolutely. It looks like we have Is It Prowess up against Azorius Omniscience here for David Inglis. So what I've been seeing, I've been chatting with players, walking around, seeing seeing my friends and stuff. Basically, every really strong player, these kind of top 1%, top 5% of elite players in the room, 75% Is It, 25% Omniscience. I saw Zachary Keeney out there playing Omniscience. And then basically every other great player has decided to play Is It Prowess.
Yeah, good friend and former teammate Andrew Jessup,
okay.
Stone Cold Ringer, did an LCQ yesterday with Omniscience as well.
Okay.
He's the current trophy leader of Magic Online and has been for the last month or so playing Omniscience.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, definitely a matchup we'll be seeing a lot this weekend. And one that's pretty interesting, with the Omni deck has all these lockdowns. It's a good lockdown deck. And realistically in Game 1, a lot of these Is It decks are mostly just racing. It's honestly kind of similar to the Domain Omniscience matchup we just saw. Difference being that the Is It Prowess deck has a really fast clock.
Yes.
So it is putting on, potentially a turn 3 or 4 kill. Doesn't have as much interaction. Might have, a Flood Maw here, a Spell Pierce there. For the most part, it's Goldfish in Game 1, and they bring in a bunch of spells for Game 2 and 3.
Yeah. So what do you like in this matchup? Is it the favor of Is It or Omniscience fast enough where they can take it down? I usually would think Omniscience is favored in this matchup. Do you agree? Yeah,
I think Game 1 is pretty strongly favored with the lockdowns and ever. I think post-board, I think if all 3 games are post-board, it would be pretty heavily in Is-It's favor because of the amount of tools they have. But I think Game 1's pretty much in Omni's favor with the lockdowns as well. And then it's kind of a scrappy post-board game where those transformational sideboard cards can really come into play. A lot of jockeying back and forth of, am I playing bases? Am I playing blockers? Am I going to combo? Oh, you brought in 9 Spell Pierces? Well, I have a base and Overlord, sorry. Yep. So there's a lot of play to this matchup and a lot of really interesting sideboard dynamics.
And kind of what you were saying in the intro there, Peter, Peter's list really is kind of focused on that arms race with Is It, the 3 Torch the Towers instead of the Burst Lightnings, the Drake Hatchers, all that kind of stuff that I would think would favor David in this kind of situation. Sure, I think Peter's deck is going to be a little bit better geared for the mirror, but that's these other non-mirror matchups feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, both Thundertrap Trainer and Slickshot Show-Off are 1-2s. They are very different 1-2s.
Yes.
And if you're playing Omni, your opponent casts a Thundertrap Trainer, you're pretty happy about it.
You just do the largest thumbs up.
Yep, you got it.
You got it. That resolves.
Yep, Squire draw card, sure.
Your Otters, they are on the battlefield, that's for sure.
Yep, and even a small change like Torch the Tower over Burst Lightning, Torch is effectively blank against Omniscience, where Burst Lightning can be that second spell for a cutter. It goes to the face. It seems small, but it's actually a huge difference.
I mean, it's Torch the Tower is so much better in this matchup. It can exile the Omniscience. Come on, Jim. Keep up, buddy. Keep up.
That is true, I suppose.
All right, so it looks like we are deciding maybe the final card to discard. Nope, we already discarded. It's just Peter, looks like piecing together, can I win? Or how much damage can I do with 2 Swift Spears to start?
Yeah, and again, Game 1 here is a race. These important cards are Monstrous Rage, Cutters, with no Slick Shots. So Spear's pretty important, honestly. Like a double Swift Spear draw is pretty close to where Peter wants to be.
Yeah. And technically, you can win this turn, but I think it would kind of just be 3 Monstrous Rages.
Yeah, Cantrip Rage would probably do it. Here's David, no thumbs up. David's way too cool for that. Way too much of a poker face to give the thumbs up there, but definitely thinking it.
The thumbs up is in the brain. You're like, God, I'm glad those aren't Slick Shot Show-Offs anymore.
Yep.
David Inglis, of course, an incredible resume on the Pro Tour, has been a little bit on and off in these last couple, but I remember that first year, basically what started with Reed winning the Pro Tour to start the Pro Tour season. David Inglis was in the top 16 of all 3 Pro Tours that year, which is just one of the most impressive things. So maybe didn't have that flashy finish where you're getting these top 8s, but those are more impressive to me when you can just piece together this consistent result after consistent result. And that's David in a nutshell here, just consistency to a key.
Yeah, so the trainer also is not a prowess trigger either.
Yeah.
So Pieter's giving David quite a bit of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So here is the third chapter of the saga. Now, this is the way to win the game. Basically, the same turn, you know, you start comboing off with the Umbuelos deck. Founding the third path has the ability to mill your opponent immediately. You want to walk us through this combo, Jim, for anyone who is just seeing this and doesn't see the invasions in the list anymore?
Right, so this is like the more stock version of a deck. We saw Autumn's version playing the Oracle a little bit different, but
yeah.
The goal here is simply you have one Founding the Third Path in your deck, and you get your loop going with your 2 dragons, where you have an Omniscience in play, you have both dragons being cast back and forth, where the dragon will bounce the other dragon and one other thing.
Yep.
And you just set up a loop where you Founding the Third Path, you read ahead to Chapter 2, mill it for 4, play the other dragon, return dragon, Founding the Third Path, cast it again, and just go through that loop infinite times, or however long is necessary to mill their entire deck. Unless they have, you know, a Gaia's Blessing or some way to put some cards back on top or win in their upkeep, which can happen.
Sure.
You know, if they are tapped out and you're at 1 and they have a Burst Lightning, you know, but pretty fringe stuff.
But we still get those counter spells like we got before that kind of back it up, right?
Exactly. So, but it's a clean kill, although the Founding itself is not a great card to cast, as we're seeing here. It can give you a little tempo in the Chapter 1 and a bit of a flashback on Chapter 3, but not a great card in this deck otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. So unfortunately, had to put temporary lockdown into the yard. This has got to be the turn where Pieter can probably piece together a win here, right? That was a very sad turn from David, just killing an otter. Now we have 3 damage in play. We're a couple spells away from just taking it down already.
Yeah, cantrip and a rage.
Uh-oh.
That's got to do it.
I'm scared. All right, that sleight of hand represents a lightning bolt as well. So this is 7. So not just any spell. An op doesn't win the game here. Yes. A monstrous rage would, or 2 cantrips.
Yeah, 1 more point of damage or an extra land and 2 spells.
Yeah.
So it's close, and realistically, David only needs 1 life.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, you know, in my Burst Lightning scenario, David can go through the entire deck, mill out Pieter. Even if Pieter has a Burst Lightning, or even 2 in hand, David's going to draw through all the counter spells of the deck. There's usually a few Spell Pierces and a few other counter spells, just enough to counter that spell or 2 as needed. And then, of course, Pieter will die to not drawing a card.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 Spell Pierce in the list. Outside of that, there are not many hard counters in this list from Tangrams. This is a little innovative. I mean, you find the 2 Spell Pierce, and in the upkeep, if Pieter does only have 4 lands, that's still just barely enough. But, man, there are not a lot of counter spells in this list. No confounding conundrums, those kind of things. So, pretty innovative. Torch the tower on one of the creatures. That's 10, right? That is not 11, so David has 1 more turn. I don't see the Omniscience in the yard, so we don't have that ready to go. I see Umbuelos in the hand.
Yeah, this is probably a lockdown or bust kind of turn.
And the thing is, he just surveilled a lockdown into the yard, so David was not interested in trying to lock down the following turn, but I guess you can just Umbuelos that back, huh?
Yeah, and then there's no into the Floodmaw in hand for... I'm sorry, you can't tap your own creatures. So
Jim, I just realized this now. Like, just think, if that Torch the Tower was Burst Lightning.
Yep.
It was just game.
Yep.
So, I mean, those kind of decisions are really a real thing. And here's Umbuelos back on the lockdown. So that lockdown is just a 1/1. Here's Corey's Steelcutter and the haste creature. Doesn't matter. Torch the Tower still good enough to win this game.
Yeah, and there is some utility, as you saw there. It is pretty funny watching your Is It Prowess player just torch their own creatures.
Yes.
But, hey, with 3 Spears in play, it's 3 Prowess triggers. It's obviously worth doing. And, yeah, I mean, we saw there, like I said, mostly a race. We didn't see Pieter really interact with anything David was doing. It was just, here's my stuff, I'm going to attack you, put it all together. David couldn't do it. Yeah,
absolutely. So looking from David's sideboard here, Jim, what do you want to do here? This Plan B looks a little bit better against the Izzet decks, huh?
For sure, yeah. Overlord and Base, obviously Base is phenomenal, but Overlord's quite good too. 3 Authority is pretty interesting. That's not a card you often see in the Omniscience sideboard, and it's kind of fun where it looks like a Nombo with temporary lockdown, right? So you have all these lockdowns. Why would I play this cheap card? It's actually a phenomenal insurance policy against Into the Floodmaw. So you end up in a spot where you play authority on one, you gain a few life off of it, they build a board, you lock down. The typical counterplay for Izzet against lockdown is to end step into the Flood Mullet, get all of her stuff back, untap, and kill you. But if there's an authority involved in that, that means the cutters are making tap tokens. You're gaining a good amount of life as well. So kind of cool and definitely interesting to see a card we don't usually see in Omni sideboards. Otherwise, if you counter spells, maybe Get Lost or two. Get Out's kind of interesting as well. It's not really favorite for this, I guess. But yeah, mostly for creatures, some interaction, and a tougher road for David, I think.
Peter's got to respect David's authority for sure. So from Peter's side, what are you sideboarding in here against David?
Actual interaction.
Yes.
Let's get those let's get those prowess triggers to a positive thing rather than shock my own creature. Ghost Vacuum, Spell Pierce, Stock Up I can see coming in as a way to kind of just find these extra things as well. One of the things about Peter's deck is that there's a lot of fluff here. You know, there's so much built for the mirror with this kind of this town package alongside the trainer. We have these torch the towers. So we can shave down on these kind of things for more interaction and then keep in the cards that are actually aggressive and attacking profitably.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. And then we do have that one Enduring Curiosity on the board. I was at a barbecue restaurant last night, ran into Nathan, who last chance qualified into this event. Nathan Starr playing 2 of that card on the board and was feeling pretty good about it. So that might be a little spicy tech that we're going to see in this event. But if you want to join us on our next event, this is going to be a really exciting one, Jim. Walk us through SCG-Con Indianapolis.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening here. So, of course, the Spotlight Series is awesome in that it's an open event. So you walk in the door, you pay your entry fee, and you can play in a major event with Pro Tour slots, phenomenal cash prizes, and more. But there's a prize for this one that is unique, a prize that's never been given out before.
No.
The winner of this event gets to help design their own secret lair. Now, we don't know exactly what that entails. You know, it's probably, I would imagine, choosing the cards and the theme. I imagine there's going to be some collaboration there with WotC. They're going to make sure, you know, it's not secret lair, my local band from high school kind of thing.
yes. My collection of cats I have at home.
But a really, really cool prize. And again, you can just walk in the door. You pay your entry fee. Top 8 players go to the Pro Tour. Going to be awesome. And as a side note, I love Indianapolis. And I love Indianapolis not in the dead of January. I've been to so many events there in January, so being able to go in May and June is great. So May 30th to June 1st, check out starcitygames.com/SGCon for all your information. Hope to see you there.
Yeah, Jim and I will be there commentating that event, and I am very, very excited to see that one. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I guess we'll play some Modern, too. That is the format, which seems somewhat relevant.
Yeah, that is important. Play some Modern here. This will be the first really large Modern event since the ban of the unjust ban of Underworld Breach, so it'll be interesting to see where the metagame goes from there.
Don't listen to Corey. Folks, just stop. Just don't listen to Corey.
Breach did nothing wrong, okay? It's paying for Mox Opal's sins.
Anyway, we got Spell Pierce here on Stormbreaker's Talent. Get Corey off the topic.
All right. Yeah, all right. Maybe it did a few things wrong. I'll admit to being wrong. Here's an opt, maybe trying to find second land here for Peter.
For David, when Spell Pierce can be a source of plowshares as well. Big game. It's combo defense, and it can be life goal defense too. And
that is no land here from our established pro here, David Inglis. End step opt from Peter to try to find some aggression, but yeah, that's not good.
Pretty telling also because there are a bunch of 2-mana cards that can draw in Dragonstorm and Moment of Truth. So not seeing one of those either is pretty scary.
Very, very true. I see a bunch of lockdowns in hand, but looks like Peter is just taking this time to stock up, get a nice and close to perfectly sculpted hand.
Yeah, so stock up, I think, has a claim to possibly be the best card in the format.
I think it easily could.
We're seeing it as a major player in Izzet, a major player on Omniscience control decks. However, I will say, playing as Izzet, when they tap out on turn 3 for a stock up, they don't get any prowess triggers off of it. It can feel like a reprieve, like a chance to breathe when you're playing any other deck. Unfortunately, David here does not find the third land, which is bad.
But he's got time to breathe, so, you know.
That was the time to breathe. And now, I mean, Peter's having to get back here. Peter's giving David quite a bit of leeway here, and David is just not capitalizing.
I don't know. I think it's that one of end step Enduring Curiosity, which seems great. in this matchup. I'm feeling it. I think Pieter has it. That's the man that's about to jam a 4-3 that's going to draw him an extra card every turn. I can feel it. I knew it.
Yep, I like the read, Corey. Definitely. Yeah. Pieter put that land way too fast and said go for it to be anything else.
And there's nothing else that made sense. If you just stocked up and your turn 4, you got nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't work like that. So David did just discard a non-omniscience. And here is a sleight of hand. You got to just feel horrendous from David's side. Even if you were making land drops, if you can get a curiosity that's going to start connecting and then Pieter is able to start finding all these pieces of interaction, you're in a lot of trouble. There was the Corey Steelcutter as well to hand.
Yeah, for me, it is not the most powerful card in the format, but Enduring Curiosity is my most groan-worthy card.
And I think it was the most powerful one for quite a while.
Yeah, it's just a card where once this happens, you just feel like you can literally never win. Obviously, David has no lands in play either, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
But just it's funny, without triggering on other creatures, the card is still just pretty good. 4-3 flash Ophidian, but whew, yeah.
Nope, it is a phenomenal card. There is the stock up on turn 1000 from David, Spell Pierce from Pieter to be able to just kind of stop David from doing anything. Pieter's going to be drawing 3 cards a turn here, minimum.
Yeah.
And really tough to do anything here. Just unfortunate. This game, everything came down to David not drawing any lands. David being on the play kept a 2-lander. That does have a cost, but most of these 2-landers where you have a stock up in hand, you just keep those. Play or draw,
I don't know. The problem is that a lot of the things that would make you want to keep a hand like that would be the things David has shown us he does not have. So the 2-mana spells that can search, Dragonstorm and Moment of Truth, or an Omniscience as a backdoor where hey, if I miss on 3, I still have this upside of discarding Omniscience too. So trying to find these backdoor outs. So okay, if I hit my land, awesome. If I don't hit my land, what else can I do? And David doesn't have any of those right now.
What about Spell Pierce 4 like a Corey Steelcutter? Was that enough to do it? But as it stands, we have the Corey Steelcutter, got another hasty threat. Pieter was going to draw 3 cards during that combat.